Welcome to Mentoring Moments. Mentoring Moments is a sub-series of the E-Commerce Edge podcast. It is composed of clips taken from Jason's one-to-one and group mentorship sessions. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the E-Commerce Edge podcast. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome Anya CHENG from Taelor.
And this is Anya CHENG from Silicon Valley. I run an AI company and where we use AI to style busy men. Before starting a company, I have 15 years in big tech companies before, most recent at Meta, where I help build out Facebook, Instagram shopping. I was at eBay as a head of product for new business in the US and new market in Latin America, Africa, Asia. At McDonald's, I was senior director, helped them to build out food delivery business when Uber Eats just started, and was helped Target, the second largest retailer in the US, before help them to build out their tech office in the Bay Area. So excited to be here.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really looking forward to this. And as you rightly point out, you've got an amazing pedigree, did your time at eBay, did your time at Facebook, most recently, product lead, connected e-commerce, Facebook shopping and social commerce. So clearly your stuff. But how did you decide, you've been doing this Taelor thing for just over 4 years now. How did you make the decision to jump out of big tech? Because big tech is like the holy grail for a lot of people. Once they make it to big tech, once they make it to one of the FANG companies, once they make it to a Google, a Meta, an Apple, that's oftentimes where they finish their career. They finish their career in big tech because that's the holy grail for tech people. Where do I want to end up? I want to end up in one of these big name brand companies. But you chose to leave that and start your own thing and take the risk of entrepreneurship. So
yeah, it's actually 2.5 years ago. But in fact, here in the Bay Area, in Silicon Valley, most of people do one of two things after they work for a big tech company. Either they join a startup or starting their startup, or yes, they retire in big tech company. So it's working for big tech companies is always fun. You have a lot of resources. You may only manage one button on the page, but then that button may be impact by millions of people every single day. While at startups, you are able to work on a lot of stuff, and of course your scope is really wide, but maybe you are only serving a few thousand customers. But my journey, usually being a startup founder is usually a journey start with a pinpoint that you want to solve, just like our e-commerce side, any e-commerce side today. So for me, I was leading the e-commerce teams at Meta, eBay, and for some emerging market and new business. So I feel a little bit imposter syndrome. I want to look great. I am immigrant from Taiwan to the US, and I'm a woman. So sometimes feel a bit imposter syndrome. I want to look great. So then I try some subscription boxes. Company like Stitch Fix, where those like they style you, but they send you the box that you have to buy before you can wear. It's just e-commerce with styling service. And I didn't like the part that I have to decide and I have to buy. I'm not the best in tidying up my apartments. I'm not always really good in deciding what I like, and I'm definitely not fashion forward. So I looked for some other options and found there are some rental companies. And so I tried some women's rental company. It's great. You don't have to buy, but most of them require you do have to pick every single thing yourself. And it was an aha moment. I realized most of a fashion company, they are designing something for people who are into fashion. Now for people like me, I just want to get ready for the day and be successful. So I start doing research and figure out who are like me. Maybe they are not interested in fashion. They need to look good. They are lazy or busy. And then turn out that many people think like me. They hate shopping, hate laundry. They are socially active because they are single, or they are sales rep. They are pastor, professor, recruiter. They meet people for work, for dates. And turn out most of them are guys. So I end up start a menswear rental company powered by AI for men.
Wow, incredible. And it feels very much, you rightly point out that I think that the fashion industry is going through what I like to call a crucible moment right now. We have Shein releasing something like 7,000 styles a day or something ridiculous like that. So we have at one end of the spectrum, we've got fast fashion. At the other end of the spectrum, we have slow fashion or durable fashion or lifetime fashion, curated pieces that people buy. And it's like the little black dress, so to speak, where you always have to have a little black dress in your wardrobe. If you're a woman and you want to go to an event, a black tie event, then hey, we have these foundation pieces, or if you're a man, you've got to have a dress up shirt, you've got to have a dress down shirt, you've got to maybe have a pair of jeans, a pair of slacks, and maybe 2 or 3 nice belts and some accessories to dress yourself up. So you've got these foundational elements of your wardrobe that don't necessarily change season to season with all the latest drops and fashion accessories that go along with it. And then you have everything in between. You have foundation, you have fast fashion, which you wear it 5 times and then you're probably getting ready to throw it away or give it away or sell it for next to nothing. And then we have the in between, right? And we have lots of technology that has recently come to the e-commerce space to help bridge that gap. Because as you rightly point out, a lot of people will buy things from a fashion e-commerce website and they'll either bracket buy from a size perspective because they don't know whether it's going to fit them or not. They'll bracket buy from a color perspective, everything else. And especially because fashion has historically allowed free returns, people have said there's no risk because if I don't like something or it doesn't fit or it's not the right color, I'm just going to return it for free anyway. But obviously that has sustainability issues. It has profitability issues for businesses. And so there have been several pieces of technology that have come to the market to try to deal with that, from everything from try before you buy, meaning, hey, we're going to send this to you and you can buy 5 things and we're not even going to bill you until you decide which pieces you want to keep, to book online, try in store to make sure that the store A has it so that I can try it on, see what it looks like before I actually plunk down my hard-earned money. And then it feels like there's this sort of third approach, which is the approach you're taking, which is, hey, instead of buying the product, why don't we rent the product instead? And it's similar to the rent the runway model, but for men. And it feels like that's the approach that
I
you
think few
decided to
things
take.
for e-commerce folks like you you probably know is a re-commerce is growing 9 times faster than e-commerce. Re-commerce.
Yes.
And the share economy starting long time ago and with Uber, Airbnb, and to nowadays, pretty much most people will accept of share economy, right? In fact, share economy is everywhere. Like you sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't know why would anyone wear the clothes someone have wear before." Then I would turn around and ask them, "So I don't know, have you ever noticed the fork in the restaurant has been eaten by 100 people, but you put it in your mouth?" In fact, it's just the reality is there's no new stuff anymore in where we live today. Everything is used, even the new tissues and paper were recycled and from somebody's dirty tissues, right? So it just with the sustainability and with the limited resources around the world, it's just unpreventable. And that's also why you see Ralph Lauren, Express, Banana Republics, and Urban Outfitter were newly by Urban Outfitter, which is similar to Rent the Runway, woman's rental company. They started 4 years ago. Now they are a profitable unicorn that they generate 380 million 380 million revenue per year, 380 million revenue per year. And the revenue of Newly has bypassed the wholesale revenue of Urban Outfitter. How long did they take to build the wholesale business? 30 years. 30 years. In 4 years, the re-commerce of Newly, which is owned by Urban Outfitter, has bypassed the revenue of wholesale, which they built for 30 years. So it's just everywhere. And I think the beauty of the rental is somewhere in between, because then, yes, you don't have to own something forever, but you also don't have to be the problem for the world. Today, 10% of carbon emission in the world actually from fast fashion. 10% in the world is from fast fashion. 30% of clothes go directly from factory to landfill. 30%. You never hit in a roll, you never hit in a store, never go on customer's hand. Return is actually a big problem, but even smaller problem compared to 30% of clothes not even seeing customer at all. It directly go to the junk fill. And why? Because there are so many brands. They are afraid of, if I go into discount store, you will hurting the brand of mine and impact our brand equity, etc. So let's just burn it. And now there's a new option. An option will be, hey, how about for the excess inventory, you can rent it out? Oh, people think rent is cheap. No, because today even Ralph Lauren's and Kate Spade and Jason Woods and Michael Kors, they all doing rental. So It's nothing to do. And in fact, it helps you to discover new customers, and people may, especially for guys who always try the same thing again and again. Now they get a new channel, they can try something new. It's try before you buy, but you don't have to give them for free, right? So you can actually make money from the rental. And guess how much people like to buy? In our data, we find that when we send out 5 clothes for customer to rent, 1 or 2 they buy it right away. And when they buy it, the clothes only being rented in less than 3 times. So in fact, most of a guy before they probably only buy the same brand. So you will never reach out to those people before. And another thing is that you point out really interesting point on the return issue. However, even if you don't return and when after you buy something, look at your closet. You probably only wear 20% of what you bought, which is according to research, that's average, right? So you bought so much stuff, but then you, right?
I feel guilty. I feel like
You
you called
only
me out.
like a few of them. You just love those few, and somehow it looks great in the store. The mirror, the lighting, and the beautiful associate. You should buy this. Yes, I should buy this. I go home, I wear for one time, and somehow it's itchy. It's with the sleeves too long. It's a little bit tight. I gained weight. I lost weight, and just no longer fit. And you never see it again. And what if this doesn't happen? You can actually wear for a couple of weeks and you can really buy what you love. And what if this amazing data, after you wear, you give the data back because you want to make sure next shipment is better. It's subscriptions, right? So you want to make sure next shipment is better. Like your Netflix show, you don't lie to your Netflix because you want to make sure you say I don't like Korean drama, but you keep watching Korean drama, and then you keep liking it because you want to make sure it recommends you something that makes sense. Unlike actually the Google or whatever review, I was just back in Taiwan and in Asia. Somehow that every store will say, give us a 5-star, you will get a free appetizer. So everybody give 5-star, but it's just not true. And but in fact, for your home's Netflix, you don't lie because you want to make sure it recommends you the good show. So those amazing data also feed back to those brands, so then they can stop producing junk to the world.
Yeah, wow. There's a lot to unpack here. So we have the opportunity, first of all, with your platform, can we rent as a one-off? Can we then also choose to be to be transparent, never used Taelor before, so I'm learning as I go here along with my audience. So I can rent one as a one-off, one time. So if let's say I need something for a specific event, a black tie event or a dinner party or something like that, I'm guessing I can rent one time. I can also have a membership, correct? Which means I'm guessing you're going to send me maybe a box that I'm effectively renting of clothes, maybe once a month, once every couple of weeks, whatever it is. And then, as you pointed out, I get the option, if I so desire, to buy any of those pieces that I particularly like, that fit me particularly well, that go over well with my significant other, whatever it might be. So is there a few different
So it's a little bit
components to
like
how this
Netflix
works?
for for fashion. You pay a monthly fee, say $100, then you get to rent 10 clothes per month. And the good thing is that you don't have to pick. Most of what we found, you asked to talk about Rent the Runway before. On the woman's side, we love to pick. It's browsing experience, it's shopping experience, it's fun to kill time. Most of a guy in the US, I would say, they don't want to spend the time. They need to look good, but they don't want to spend time chasing after clothes. They don't read GQ. They don't know what to pick. So our AI do the work for them. But our human stylists will make final decision, make sure AI is right, and then we send it to you, say 5 items, and you can mix and match to be 3 outfits based on your schedule. Oh, these weeks. Today I need to record a podcast. Tomorrow I will go to a local speech event. Then next week I have farmers market. Then I have date night for Valentine's Day. Great. Then you pair based on your schedule is perfect for that the weather and the preference. Then you wear for a couple weeks. Once you're done, you can decide if you want to buy. Most of people, if they wear and they feel comfortable, they buy it. Why? Because secondhand. So it's like 20, 30, 40, 50% off of a retailer. So there's no price comparison needed. There's no thinking. When you wear your if you don't even know, your friend and family say, "Oh, that looks good." Perfect. You just keep it. And then you return the rest, put into return envelope. If you are traveling, perfect. You put into return envelope, give it to hotel lobby. You go home without any laundry to do when you got home. And when you got home, the new shipment is already at home waiting for you. Know those things that you have to bring dirty clothes home and wash the clothes after you retire trips. And from there, if you share some feedbacks on, hey, this is perfect, but somehow I gain weight, and so maybe now I need bigger pants, and so we make sure adjust for the next shipment for you, and then you get next shipment that's perfect for your schedule again. So it's like you dry clean, but every time you pick up, it's different, and it's already picked by professional stylists and AI, and it's perfect for your schedule.
Wow. And I see that you got 3 tiers of membership here, 5 items a month, 79, 10 items a month, 109 a month. And then you've got the quarterly bundle, 10 items a month, pay quarterly, save $40. And how do you, I guess a flood of questions leap to mind when I see the website, how it works, the different collections. I can give this as a gift to somebody, etc. But how, first of all, where do you source your clothing? Like, how do you have buyers that can have enough range within the range to suit a wide enough variety of occasions, personality types, sizes, colors, things like that? First of all, how do you go about your sourcing? I'm guessing that sourcing for rental must be at least slightly different to say, for example, sourcing for fast fashion, because you want something that's going to look good, be a little bit timeless, is going to be durable, it's going to be able to be washed multiple times without it falling apart. So there's quite a different set of criteria when you're sourcing for your type of business versus, hey, I've got this corner fashion store that I want to have kind of the latest and greatest on the rack, and I'm trying to always stay on top of the trend. You know what I mean?
So for people who are listening, if you are brands, we would love to partner with you if you are high quality. We don't do tuxedo. Your previous question on, can we do a one-time rental? Right now, we don't do tuxedo. We don't do the yoga clothes, but everything in betweens, from like t-shirts and to blazers to jackets to sweaters and pants and jeans. And when we source, the only thing is high quality. The thing is that you don't have to be famous, because most of our customer, which is most of the guy in the US, probably only know 5 brands. They know Lululemon, Banana Republic, Gaps, and Nike, and pretty much about it. And they don't want to rent those brands they already know, because they have been wearing them for the last 10 years. They want to try something new. The beauty of rental is that you can try something new and out of your comfort zone a little bit. Like Netflix show. It's not like buying DVD. You have to buy Home Alone because you know you'll watch 5 times. You watch for 5 minutes, you don't like it, no problems, and switch out, and you just return and get next shipments. So it doesn't have to be timeless piece. Actually, we have all different kind of moderns and Americanos and a little bit preppy, or all kind of different style. We have over 300 different brands. You just have to be high quality, because you are right, it's rental. So if it's one time and falling apart, it doesn't work. And also, our mission is also to help the world to be more sustainable. Through this rental model, we monetize the unsold inventory from brand. We feed the data back to them, and each clothes will bought by someone who already for sure they will like the clothes because they wear for a couple of weeks, right? So it will against our principle and our missions on being sustainable. So it's definitely have to be high quality. Luckily, in the fashion world, except the fast fashions, most of brands actually know how to make quality clothes, but a lot of them don't know how to find new customers. Like you are in Mexico, amazing brands in Mexico. Even it's so close to US, it's just so hard to get into a new market. And partially just because a guy also buy the same thing again and again, so never give you a chance.
And how do you think about like the economics of what you do to make sure that you are a sustainable business? Because it says your most popular plan here is your 10 items a month, pay $109 a month, 5 items per shipment, 2 shipments per month. So you've got to pay for four freight movements, basically from you to the customer and the customer back 2 times per month. So we're talking four freight movements. Plus, we're talking, you've got to clean all these items in between rentals, and you've got to purchase the items up front. So I'm guessing that this seems, on the surface of it, extremely cheap. It seems difficult to make the economics of a business like this work to where it's both affordable for the customer but also profitable for you. And that feels like there's
so I think
tension in
the
those
easy
two things.
analysis is Runway and Newly. Rent the Runway has been there for 15 years and the stock price isn't great and isn't that profitable. So however, if you look at Newly, 4 years, they are already a profitable unicorn at 25, only 25% gross margin. They are already a profitable unicorn. So how? Which I think we are very different from in a woman's business, because fundamentally in a woman's business, what's the problem? They are solving the problem that women want to wear different things every day. So when women want to wear different things every day, they don't buy. Right? Because I want to wear a different thing tomorrow, so I'm not going to buy. Even though if I love it, I want to wear a different thing. So in that model, if your inventory is very high cost, for example, Rent the Runway, they partner with K-Space or very high-end brand, Michael Kors, then it's really hard just through rental alone to make the money back. And it's also high-end, therefore when people are wanted to buy them, it's still pretty expensive, even though it's secondhand. Like it's pretty expensive from a case bay of $300 dress, and you still be going to be $250, right? So you may not feel like you want to buy it, and as a result, you can only make money from the rental. But if you look at Newly, exactly the same. But the only difference is the inventory. On the one hand, they do have their own inventory, which is good. But on the other hand, their inventory are more mid-tier, which is maybe $100, $150, and after discount, secondhand is $50. So sometimes women, even they want to wear a different thing every day, they still buy. So very quickly, the same model, 10 years after Rent the Runway launch a business, they launch it, they're profitable in 4 years. In our model, I believe that men is even more profitable because better even than Newly, we solving the problem for them is they want to save time. Guys are not here to rent clothes. Yes, they are, but they are even more so of hiring an executive assistant, which is our AI. So they are really here to save time. That's why the number one feedback from our customer is, can I buy shoes, accessories? By the way, where do you think I should get this haircut? Oh, Valentine's Day clothes is ready. Do you know where should I get Valentine's Day jewelry? Which one do you think I should give my girlfriends? They really need is actually an executive assistant. So I would say, different from the woman's rental company, we are actually in the business of lazy economies, share economy, circular economy, but mostly for lazy economy, for people just like you do the food delivery, you outsource your AI to the ChatGPT. You like nowadays, just everyone will rely on someone else to do the work for them, so then they can have better life. And I think that's how make the economy work, because besides renting, they also buy the stuff, and even they only buy one item from each shipment, then we already double the revenue. And in addition, they provide those feedback, and they also want to buy shoes, accessory, and other stuff that we are not renting. So we are planning to expanding those category, and which make the shipment a lot more profitable too.
Okay. So accessories, you have no intent to make those part of the rental bundle. So you're not gonna be renting out shoes. You're not gonna be renting out belts. You're not gonna be renting out hats, things like that. But if someone likes an item from their shipment, or I guess from what you're saying, it sounds like roughly one item every single shipment somebody's going to want to keep and pay for and buy. So then you want to be able to offer them a completed look, so to speak, where you have the accessory bundles ready to go that match the item that they decided to keep, and therefore they can just log into your website. You've already got their payment details anyway, because you're already charging them monthly for their subscription fees, so you can automatically bill them for any item, A, that they want to keep, or B, that they want to bundle with the item that they keep, any accessories or whatever,
so
and you'll just ship
what
it
we
out.
have found was that guy want to buy complete look. All they are buying is getting ready for my week. It's not really renting us. It's just getting ready for my week. So we see eventually one day, if you are if you know what you want, you are going Amazon. If you don't know what you want, you will come to Taelor, because then we are here for people who are lazy, busy, and want to have opinion for something. Unless you are someone who actually do read GQ and have strong points of view, you are your personal stylist. Otherwise, we see that for people who are unsure, they come to Taelor.
Okay, so this is a very low risk way to have a curated selection of items sent to you twice a month. And at the end of the day, the great thing about this is that like you said, it's basically a try before you buy model, right? And instead of there are fashion retailers that now have try before you buy, meaning that, hey, we'll send it to you, you don't pay anything, we'll effectively off your card, but we won't capture the payment until you tell us which items you want to keep versus which items you want to return. But it feels like there is still a fair, even in that model versus your model, there is still a significant amount of mental and emotional bandwidth on the customer side to have to make the selection in the first place. And I guess, so there's two components to your model that make it attractive for men like me, which I don't really like physical. I try to do like probably somewhere around 90% of my shopping, I do online. Basically, if I can buy it online, I will buy it online. Only if I don't have the option to buy it online, then maybe I'll go to a physical store if I absolutely have to. But I'm not one of those guys that loves going to malls, loves wandering through stores, loves looking at new things, holding it in my hand, trying it on. Actually, that's probably the least enjoyable thing I can imagine in my life. And I imagine I represent a reasonable cross-section of the guys out there in the market. That I know there's a lot of guys out there that are exactly like me. Not only do I not like physical shopping, but even when it comes to clothes, I don't necessarily even like online shopping for clothes. I have to shop for clothes, but I don't enjoy shopping for clothes. For people that are in the same situation as me, you kill two birds with one stone. First of all, you de-risk the process for guys like me because I don't have to have the mental or emotional bandwidth to make the selection. You're making the selection for me. Then, because it's only a rental, there's no risk that I'm going to hate the thing when I receive it, because if I don't like it, then I'm going to send it back. So it's no problem. I don't have to keep that item. But if I find a piece that I absolutely love and I say, man, this looks good, my wife tells me this looks good, it fits me well, it fits everything else that's in my wardrobe, damn, I really want to keep this thing.
Exactly.
You make it
And
easy for me to keep it
on
as
the
well.
other hand, for the supplier, we also help them to get very interesting insight. Imagine you are brand new in New Zealand. How hard for you to figure out what American really like for my product. Besides, you are assuming American are a little bit bigger than people in Asia, right? So for our brand partners, they actually get insight. Oh, this clothes is perfect, but only on the shoulder area is a little bit tight. Usually those like very details inside, you don't get it. Even customer provide feedback, they don't always say that much details. In addition, they also get feedback specifically to some a member that with additional information that you don't get on e-commerce. For example, we know customers job, occupations, their age, how many kids they have, or if they are divorced, if they are on second dates, and where they are going through Google interview tomorrow. We know all of this because why? Because we style them, so they have to tell us, okay, on Tuesday I have this event I go to, and I work for this company. That's why I have to give a talk, and those people I want to give a better impression. What? Like we know so much about them, and so these data feedback to the brand. They can easily take actionable things to do and make sure the inventory or merchants will change before they enter the market. And now they know, okay, we know for sure we have a good product, because what problem is for what the problem before for those brands, they want to enter a new market, they start doing marketing and they may not sell well, but they don't know why, or they're not sure what items will sell well to whom. So they may have to, if you have money, you may hire a consultant to help you on that. If you don't have money, end up you are just trying to sell to the wholesaler, and hopefully you find a brand agent to help you. But many times, if you don't have a lot of audience there, why would agents who helped you, right? They will charge you a crazy amount of money. So using the platform become a testing platform, research platform, and we also do marketing for brands. So we will help them to get on Hollywoods and celebrities, and because we don't have our own clothes, so we are a platform. So when we promote, we have to bring someone along. So we just bring those brands, they get on GQ and get on different magazine and or podcasts. And for them, it's almost like trading their inventory for free marketing, for free insight, and getting new customers.
So do you consider your business a data play first and a retail play
I think
second?
we're definitely a data company for sure. But I think it's also the journey of the company. We are 2 years old, 2.5 years old company. So we started, of course, have to be more consumer focused on. But over time, we have found that the data is a goal. And in fact, there are manufacturers, not brands, like manufacturer. They outsource the research part to us. The product haven't been live in productions. They are manufactured for we're the world's one of the most famous brands. So before, what they do is they do manufacturing only, and as you can imagine, the margin is really low. So now they want to elevate their or upgrade their business to be doing design for those amazing brands. But then when they do design, the brand will ask them, "Okay, you tell me this design is amazing. How would you know?" They don't know, right? So today, all they need to do is they put a sample, even without the brands that they will help to produce for, then send on the platform. We test it with a customer, and customer get this amazing product that probably will go out 2 years out in the market for the one of the most famous brand in the world. And you can try it, and then you give feedback. Now we feedback to the manufacturer. Now they become a design house for those world most famous brand. So I think we definitely is a data company, but of course we start on the consumer side as it's just a journey for a company.
Yeah, makes sense. And I guess the incentive for these manufacturers or these brands to give you either free or heavily discounted product is an ability to seed the market. So let's say it's a brand that is already well known, and let's say it's a product they're already planning to make and sell at retail anyway. It helps to seed the market with the product, right? At the end of the day, it helps to get it out to an audience that then they're going to take photos. If they love it and they keep it, then they're going to take photos of themselves. They're going to post it to Instagram. And people are going to say, "Hey, where did you get that coat? What brand is it?" There is an opportunity for them to effectively do some evangelizing around their brand and their products and their drops before it actually ends up in retail, right? So it feels like there is and on the flip side, on the data collection side from your customers, the incentive for them to give you accurate data is so that every future shipment becomes better tailored to their wants and needs. So there's a virtuous cycle of data exchange that happens here. And the final thing that I see that feels like a massive benefit to your platform is that it reduces the chance that a brand is going to produce something that the market doesn't want. So it's going to reduce the amount of waste in the industry. So it feels like there is definitely an element of a virtuous cycle to it's a marketplace. It's a two-sided marketplace in a way. Even though it's rental, not buy, it
Yeah,
still
and
feels like
most
a two-sided marketplace.
important part is that these will also definitely help the customer. Yes, the customer will definitely provide feedback because they want to make sure next shipment is better. You do touch on how about well-known brands, and for well-known brands today we are starting partner with well-known brand to provide AI for them, because as you may know, most of those brands they are really good in getting customers and showcase them. But most of those brands, the fashion company, they are horrible in technology. They are definitely bad in technology. They've never been good on e-commerce. Like think about those world famous brands. Which one is good in e-commerce? None of them. And now they are even more worried. Oh my God, AI is coming. The AI transformation. What am I going to do? Right? For example, brands when they work with us, they use our AI to provide to their customers. So on e-commerce, instead of going through red sweater, long sleeve, and turn on open the store and filter, now they just need to ask for, hey, I have this amazing event coming out. This is my picture. This is my wife picture. Which clothes you think I should buy? Or they even use our product to do training their associate. The store associate, we all know many part of the world has a big problem for quality talents. It's extremely difficult to get quality talents in the store. Not to mention the store manager's time is so precious. Now they have to go train the store associate. They may be good in selling, but most of them are not really good in styling. So, because if they are good, really good, they already become a stylist. They are not a store associate. So they use our technology to train their store associate so that they can save the time from the manager, and the store associate will also spend more time on selling versus just figure out how do I pair this one and this one. For more brands, they are manufacturer, and others they use us as a channel to test out the market. And then for famous brand, they use us as technology play.
Do you ever see a world in the future, not now, but do you ever see a scenario where you are the rental function for a brand. So you effectively, they are completely white labeling not only your technology, but they're also white labeling your entire infrastructure, operations, services, delivery, cleaning, the whole 9 yards, where they can effectively use you instead of developing their own rental product or their own rental service themselves. Maybe they want to have that as an adjunct. Maybe they want to have resale, and so they're going to go and they're going to use the Treat platform, for example, for their resale, but then they also want to add a rental function within their business, but they don't want to have to develop all the operational capability to deliver that. So do you see a future where some of these fashion brands, the D2C brands in particular, use you and your services in a white label way to deliver the exact same service you do,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
only
It's
to their customer
already
base?
got so much inquiry because we have over 300 brands working with us, and so many of them already say this is amazing. Sure, can I use it for my country here in Italy or in Singapore? So for sure, definitely. And we are a Silicon Valley company. I used to build Facebook, Instagram shopping. So the DNA of the company is just we are really good in technology. However, I also don't truly believe that's the right thing for the customers and profitable for the customer because it's someone already did that. Like Castle, the company, they white label these two behind the rental for Express or Banana Republic. Who want to rent 100 Banana Republic per year? So yeah, maybe there's someone I did sign that before. However, then you're probably going after your most loyal customer, which you will be cannibalizing your own business. I don't think that you work well with a single brand. You work for Newly because you have 7 brands under Urban Outfitter. So it doesn't feel like one brand, but I don't think a single brand will make sense for your consumer. You just don't want to be the blah 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 brand girls and for the entire year, and renting is about exploring the new style and new different brands. So I think they will for sure have business, and that's why Ralph Lauren has that and Banana Republic has that, Express and Scotch and Soda. But I don't see that become a mainstream. It just doesn't make sense for customer.
Okay. So basically, you will become the brand aggregator for these brands across the whole rental range. And the great thing is that effectively, by default, you've got a multi-brand cart every single time you send something out. Because I'm guessing that when you send out those 5 items, for example, I'm guessing it would be extremely rare that any of those 5 items or more than one of those 5 items would be from the same brand. And so by definition, people are getting
Exactly.
exposed to a
So
wide range of
we do
brands.
get people who reach out to us from different country and saying that, hey, they are, for example, they are department store. So they feel like, hey, we can actually launch this business. They may not own all of the brand, but they have easy access to this brand. Or we have companies reach out to us, say, hey, I am in East Asia and where we run a laundry company. Great, you're already doing laundry, so you already know half part of the business. Or we have a company there, they do logistics. So they already do all the shippings. They're really good in all of stuff. So it doesn't have to be a brand. Yes, well, I do think that this can still be a brand, and even they can use our technology for rental. Or if they don't want to do rental, even they just launch something for with styling service like Stitch Fix, they can easily use our technology to do. But I also see that it doesn't have to be from the D2C brand. Could be other business. All you need is you may be doing between e-commerce, laundry and styling, like you are good in one of them, or you have inventories or something, then you have advantage than anyone who run the business. Then you have the competitive edge for running this type of business.
Right. And what is there anything your customers are asking you for today that you don't yet do? You mentioned accessories. That's a line you're going to get into. You're not doing that yet, but that's coming soon. Is there anything else that your customers are asking for that you don't yet do? Or is there any other gaps in the market that you say, hey, we don't do this yet, but this is another
Great.
opportunity for
Since
us
you
to
ask,
explore?
you actually really hot. We're just about to announce and not yet announced. So you got a chance to be here. The first announcement, we just partnered with Armor, the woman's rental company, because both of us got approached by so many companies. They want to offer this as an employee gift and perks. So imagine what's a better product or benefit. Like as a new hire, you get, do you want to mark for the first 3 months, or you want to look great in the first 3 months at work? So it's something to save time, and you save time, then the time that you save from your employee, what are they going to do? Spend on you again, right? Doing work. Or it's also help them to look great. Then they close a deal, which is great for the company. And they look great, so they feel confident, which will promote the diversity of the company. It doesn't have to be the big executive looks great with a custom suit while the junior guys always look scrappy, right? So you promote the diversity for the company, you remove bias for the company. So these are all good things. But before, if you only have men's wear or women's wear, it doesn't work for the HR. So now we are teaming up and we are ready to offer stuff that for a company as gift for per, and what's a better product for the company to provide and more sustainability support for your employee, right? So you can actually help the world by saving each, like reduce the fast fashion, help them to be more sustainable. So what's a better gift than this? So we are ready together to conquer the B2B side.
That was actually going to be my next question. So you've answered it straight up front, which is because I focus heavily now as part of my career in the B2B e-commerce space, the B2B digital commerce space of all stripes and sizes and e-procurement, etc. And so I was going to ask, it feels like this is very much a play that, I don't know, let's say hypothetically you're Goldman Sachs, right? And you want all of your executives to always, as part of their package, as part of their comp package, you want to pay for this for them to make sure that when your team are going out to events and activities and things like that, that they always have a certain style, that they have a look, that they're wearing new clothes, that they're seen as cutting edge, that they're doing all these things. It feels like you'd be able to sell your services in bulk to businesses that want to offer this and extend this as a perk to their staff. And presumably they could maybe do a wholesale deal with you where you say, okay, I got 100 staff that I want to extend this to. What kind of deal can you do for me? And then I'm sure that there's some potential negotiation that can happen there. But it feels like in some respects, this is an even better opportunity at the wholesale level than at the go out and try to find each individual guy to engage with. It feels like en masse, this feels like a great
And
opportunity
also
from a B2B
it's
perspective.
always great on a lot of companies, especially in the US. It's just weird if you require or give people dress code. Like when we say not too casual, what do you mean not too casual, right? So it's just really hard to implement those dress code, but at the same time you also don't want them to look really sloppy, because if in fact you just, we all see those movie people change clothes and suddenly now the other person look at them like, oh my god, you look amazing. So the reality is that the world is biased to people who looks polished and looks great, and right, so taking care of themselves. So what's a better like solution to help them? But I would say it's for sure that's something that we think there's a great opportunity. But for the consumer side, it led us to learn as much as what customer really looking for. Yeah, because in the B2B side, yes, they signed a corporate deal for a year, so there's retention 100%. But in fact, they may or may not love the product. And to build an amazing company, I think fundamentally you need to know what customer really looking for. So today we give every customers, they have 15 minutes of Zoom consultation call with our human stylist. And I personally try to join as much as I can because it's just really important. And today when customer text us, we actually use human to respond to them. Why? It's not because our AI is not capable. It's we actually can easily use AI respond. It's just every single person, when they ask something, you give us so much insight on what they need or what's not clear or what's the real problem we want to solve. So I think it's back to building a business. Solving a right problem is important, and the only you can do so by deeply understanding your customers.
Couldn't agree more. AI is great in its place, but it's not ready to completely replace the human experience just yet. And I think we're still a ways off from being able to replace that human experience. And in fact, there's a lot of podcast technology out there where you can give AI a script. You can use HeyGen. There's a number of different avatar-based technologies out there where they can, you can write a script, you can have AI write the script, and then you can have AI voice the script. And so there's a lot of Gen AI content out there that unfortunately still, I think a lot of people that deploy AI technology for content creation, they don't quite realize or maybe admit to themselves yet that it's still very transparent and very obvious. Like when I see an AI comment on my posts on LinkedIn, for example, I can tell immediately when I see an AI comment. It's so completely transparent and obvious. And I can see it with lots of other things with Gen AI. I think Gen AI is improving very quickly. We still have issues with hallucination. We still have other issues. And even the major players like the Metas of the world have admitted that when AI is trained on synthetic AI generated training data, within 2 to 3 generations, the output becomes unusable. And so it is very interesting to see that AI still, even as of today, as of 2025, still needs human generated raw training data to get the best out of the AI. So I think we're a ways away from being able to fully replace
I think
the human experience with
fundamentally, no
machines.
matter you use AI, use human, well, you just have to solve a problem. So if you look at Amazon, they try to use AI for helping to truck driver to turn on the lights. Sometimes they carry stuff, so it's hard to turn on, turn off the light. So they implement the AI, but what they found out was that the AI only detect when if there's a human when there is a light. So it detects during the day and oh yeah, we need to turn on the light, but during the day you don't need the lights. So then and they don't detect during the night because they couldn't see the person, so they don't turn it on. But that's when that you need a light. So fundamentally, you still need to solve a problem. Or the example for Target. When I was working there, my colleagues they decide to build a feature which is helping people to never forget about one thing in the store. Sometimes you go to a store, you came home and realize, oh, I forgot the milk or eggs. And what they did was they decide to implement in-store GPS function. You put a shopping list in your app, you open that, your app become in-store GPS, turn left, turn right in the store. You'll never forget one thing. And no one use it. Why? Those moms, they are going to the store to get lost. It's a get away from their kids. It's always is from the family. It's their time wandering around to shop. Yes, they may forget about one thing. Perfect. Give an
Yes.
excuse to go back to a store again. Is a pain point big enough for you to solve the problem? Great, you now have an AR, VR, and AI to solve the problem, but did you really solve a problem? And is that problem really big enough for you to solve? And are you taking away other value props while you are solving the problem? So it's really important to think about those.
I couldn't agree more. It reminds me of the story. I think it was Betty Crocker, or one of those famous manufacturers. They created these all in one ingredient cake mixes, right? Where everything was in the packet, right? And so they put those onto the market, didn't sell very well. They changed the recipe to require the inclusion of one egg. So as part of the cake making process, you actually had to put an egg in the mix and mix it up. And it like 100x'd the sales, because the person making the cake, in most cases it was the mother making the cake, they wanted to actually feel like they were doing something good for their family, that they were taking the energy and that they were actually thinking about their family and they cared about their family and they wanted to feel like they were actually baking and making something from scratch. Whereas if everything's in the packet, they didn't feel that same sense of accomplishment or care or love for their family as breaking one egg, putting it in, mixing it up, and then putting it in the oven. Just the addition of one egg made all the difference. So you're right. I think we have to think about the buyer psychology, or in this case, the renter's psychology, not just try to solve everything about the problem, because sometimes there's more to the problem than just
Yeah,
what
it's
we
just
think is
back
the
to the
immediate
famous
resolution.
job to be done, right? So when you open the weather app, you are not trying to look at how many degree. Or you're trying to figure out if should I bring a jacket, should I bring an umbrella, right? So what's real job to be done? Or the classic stories on there's a juice you sweet it used to be half juice half soda, so it was on the soda aisle and the I was on the soda aisle and people don't like it. If you're on the juice aisle and people don't buy it and move to the soda aisle, it become very healthy because it's half juice. So that now everybody buy it, because the job to be done is they want to feel healthy even though they are in the soda aisle. So really think about what's the problem you are trying to solve, what's the job those the product were really done for you, are really a key for building a great e-commerce sites.
Couldn't agree more. Listen, it's been a fantastic conversation. We're coming down to the end of our time together now. We're nearly at an hour, so an hour has absolutely flown by. Now, if people want to get a hold of you, chat with you, I will drop your LinkedIn link into the show notes. I will also drop the Taelor website link into the show notes. But other than that, if people want to have a conversation with you about e-commerce, about re-commerce, about rental commerce, about all the things that you do and the data play for brands,
Great.
how
If
are
you
they
are
best
just a
to get a hold
consumer,
of
want
you?
to give you a try, you can use Ecommerce 30 to get 30% off your first month. And it's also in the Valentine's Days or holidays around the corner. So use Ecommerce Gift 10, Ecommerce Gift 10, one word to get 10% off gift card. If you are suppliers, you are a brand, amazing brand for menswear clothes or anything men will buy. The woman's jewelry because men will buy for Valentine's Day. Just email me at Anya, Anya at Taelor, Taelor.ai. Taelor, Taelor.ai.
Amazing. I really appreciate your time. You're clearly passionate about what you do. You clearly know the direction and the path that you're on, and you've got a great pedigree behind you to back that up. So I wish you every success with Taelor. Now, as we do come down to the end of our time together, this is where I get to flip the script. I get to hand the microphone over to you. I get to let you ask me one question, any question you like. It can be personal or professional. Miss Anya Cheng from
What's the
Taelor,
most
what is your
common
question for me
e-commerce
today?
people made when they were building their e-commerce business? Yes, that's right.
So, mistake that they make. Oh, look, now that I play in the B2B space very heavily, first 3/4 of my career was B2C and D2C, and now I play, for the last 4 years in particular, I've played very heavily in the B2B space. And I think in the B2C and D2C space, because most e-commerce projects are marketing led, not all, but significant portions of those projects, they're led by marketers. And so they're very worried about brand. They're worried about positioning. They're worried about messaging. They're worried about buyer psychology. They're worrying about removing friction. They're worried about cross sells, upsells, inspiration, aspiration. They're worried about all those things. In the B2B world, because our customers have to buy from us, they're not coming there to be inspired. That's not why they're coming to your website. They're not coming there to spend as much time as possible browsing and checking out every category and seeing the latest drops. They are doing it because they have to. They're doing it as part of their job. So their goal is to get into the bloody website, make the purchase as fast as they possibly can, and get the hell out and go do something else with their working day. And they usually have very limited time during the day to do the fulfillment function. And so one of the things that I encourage my consulting customers to do that sometimes they haven't done, in fact, I would say the majority of the time they haven't done, they have never had a conversation with their customers about what e-commerce even means to their customers. What is important to their customers? What matters to their customers? Does e-commerce even matter? Do they think it matters to them? And in fact, in the B2B world, 99% of the time, the buyer never ever uses the term e-commerce. They don't. They'll use the term trade portal or buyer portal or services portal or something like that, but they will almost never use the actual term e-commerce. And so there's a disconnect oftentimes between the B2B seller and the B2B buyer about what they expect the supplier to provide in terms of digital services. Sometimes they actually don't want to do the transaction online. They want to continue to do that transaction through their favorite account manager that they've been doing business with for 20 years, but they still want a whole bunch of other digital services to complement the transaction, which is, I want to be able to track my order. I want to be able to download my invoices. I want to be able to check the status of my credit account. I want to be able to make a quote request. I want to be able to check inventory. I want to be able to check MOQs. I want to be able to do all these things through a portal of some variety in an automated self-service way, but I want to still continue to transact how I've always transacted. But you would never know that as a seller unless you actually talk to your customers and you ask them those questions. What does e-commerce mean to you? If we were to implement an e-commerce website, would you use it? Is it of interest to you? What other things could we be doing to make your life better, easier? And tell us one thing that you love about doing business with us. Tell us one thing that you hate about doing business with us that we can work on and improve. And it's those types of interviews with nuance to the questions that I think B2Bs really struggle with. They're really good once an account manager's been assigned to a customer. They're really good at telling them about new drops of products and making sure they're serviced at a high level and taking them to boozy lunches and to ball games and all that sort of stuff. They're great at building the relationship, but sometimes they're bad at taking a step back and saying, what is it that you need to be able to do your job better and enjoy doing business with us more. And that's where I come in, and I'm sometimes tasked with actually asking those questions of the customer because they don't know how to ask the questions. And so I think that's something
Wonderful.
that B2Bs could get
What
better
problem they will really try to solve? What job do the customers try to get done? It's almost, we recently talked to very world famous luxury brands, and they, at the beginning, they say, hey, we know startup can do everything, and besides AI stylist, what else can you sell to me? Do you do virtual try-ons? And we're like, oh, we don't. We know some other people and do. And then the next week, they come back, tell us that, hey, you know what? We decided not to do virtual try-on because what we found out was that when people try, they realize how fat they are and they stop buying stuff. And instead, they decide to go to the gym and cut a dial and diet and no longer need the service. Instead of just asking, oh, we think we should virtual try on because all of the fashion brands need it. What problem you really trying to solve for your customers? Great. Thank you so much. This has been really fun.
If you'd like to get mentored by Jason for free, head over to greenwoodconsulting.net, scroll to the bottom of the page, and click Get Mentored by Jason.